New Order Business Head Office, Bo. For the American band, see the New Order Band. New Order. New Order performing in Chile in 2019. New Order performing in Chile in 2019. Background information. Origin: Manchester, England. Genres: alternative dance, synth to post-punk, new wave, dance, rock, electronica. Years active: 1980 to 19,931,998 to 20,072,011 present. Labels: Factory London, Quest, Warner Brothers. Reprise, Mute. Associated acts: Joy Division, Electronic Revenge, The Other Two, Monaco, Bad Lieutenant, Peter Hook and the Light Free Boss. Website: neworder.com. Members: Bernard Sumner, Stephen Morris, Gillian Gilbert, Phil Cunningham, Tom Chapman. Past members: Peter Hook. New Order are a British rock band formed in 1980 by vocalist and guitarist Bernard Sumner, bassist Peter Hook and drummer Stephen Morris. The band formed after the demise of Joy Division, following the suicide of lead singer Ian Curtis. They were joined by Gillian Gilbert on keyboards later that year. New Order's integration of post-punk with electronic and dance music made them one of the most acclaimed and influential bands of the 1980s. 1. They were the flagship band for Manchester-based independent record label Factory Records and its nightclub Hacienda, and worked in long-term collaboration with graphic designer Peter Saville. 2. While the band's early years were overshadowed by the legacy of Joy Division, their experience of the early 1980s New York club scene saw them increasingly incorporate dance rhythms and electronic instrumentation into their work. Their 1983 hit Blue Monday became the best-selling 12-inch single of all time and a popular club track. 3. In the 1980s, they released successful albums such as Power, Corruption and Lies, 1983, Technique, 1989, and the singles compilation Substance, 1987. They disbanded in 1993 to work on individual projects before reuniting in 1998. In the years since, New Order has gone through various hiatuses and personnel changes, most prominently the departure of Hook in 2007. They released their 10th studio album, Music Complete, in 2015. Contents: 1. History. 1.1 Origins and Formation, 1977 to 1980. 1.2 Movement, 1981 to 1982. 1.3 Power, Corruption and Lies, 1983 to 1984. 1.4 Low Life, Brotherhood, and Substance, 1985 to 1987. 1.5 Technique, Republic and First Breakup, 1988 to 1993. 1.6 Reformation and Get Ready, 1998 to 2003. 1.7 Waiting for the Siren's Call, Singles and Second Breakup, 2004 to 2007. 1.8 Reunion with New Lineup, Lost Sirens and Music Complete, 2011 to 2016. 1.9 Touring and Recent Work, 2017 present. 2 Other Projects. 2.1 B Music. 3 Influences, Style and Legacy. 3.1 Reputation. 3.2 Cover Artwork. 4 Awards and Nominations. 5 Band Members. 5.1 Timeline. 6 Discography. 7 References. 8 Further reading. 9 External links. History. Origins and Formation, 1977 to 1980. Between 1977 and 1980, Ian Curtis, Peter Hook, Stephen Morris, and Bernard Sumner were members of the post-punk band Joy Division, often featuring heavy production input from producer Martin Hannett. 4. Curtis took his own life on May 18, 1980, the day before Joy Division were scheduled to depart for their first American tour, and prior to the release of the band's second album, Closer. The rest of the band decided soon after Curtis's death that they would carry on. 5. Prior to his death, the members of Joy Division had agreed not to continue under the Joy Division name should any one member leave. On July 29, 1980, the still unnamed trio debuted live at Manchester's Beach Club. 678, Rob Grun, the band's manager for over 20 years, is credited for having found the name New Order in an article in The Guardian titled The People's New Order of Kampuchea. The band adopted this name, despite its previous use for former Studra Nation's band The New Order. The group states that the name New Order, as was also the case with Joy Division, does not draw a direct line to National Socialism or Fascism. 9. The band rehearsed with each member taking turns on vocals. Sumner ultimately took the role, as he could sing when he wasn't playing his guitar. They wanted to complete the lineup with someone they knew well and whose musical skill and style was compatible with their own. Grun suggested 9, Morris's girlfriend Gillian Gilbert, and she was invited to join the band in early October 1980, as keyboardist and guitarist. Her first live performance with the band occurred at the Squat in Manchester on October 25, 1980. 10-11. Movement, 1981 to 1982. The initial release as New Order was the single Ceremony, backed within a lonely place. These two songs were written in the weeks before Curtis took his own life. 9. With the release of Movement in November 1981, New Order initially started on a similar route as their previous incarnation, performing dark, melodic songs, albeit with an increased use of synthesizers. The band viewed the period as a low point, as they were still reeling from Curtis' death. Hook commented that the only positive thing to come out of the Movement sessions was that producer Martin Hannett had showed the band how to use a mixing board, which allowed them to produce records by themselves from then on. 12. More recently, Hook indicated a change of heart. I think Movement gets a raw deal in general really, for me. When you consider the circumstances in which it was written, it is a fantastic record. 13. New Order visited New York City again in 1981, where the band were introduced to post-disco, freestyle and electro. 14. The band had taken to listening to Italian disco to cheer themselves up, while Morris taught himself drum programming. 15. The singles that followed, Everything's Gone Green and Temptation, saw a change in direction toward dance music. The Hacienda, Factory Records' own nightclub, largely funded by New Order, opened in May 1982 in Manchester and was even issued a factory catalogue number, FAC 51. The opening of UK's first ever superclub was marked by a nearly 23-minute instrumental piece originally entitled Prime 586, 16. But released 15 years later as Video 586. 17, composed primarily by Sumner and Morris, Prime 586, Video 586 was an early version of 586 that contained rhythm elements that would later surface on Blue Monday and Ultraviolence. 16. Power, Corruption and Lies, 1983 to 1984. Blue Monday, 1983. 030. Menu 0:00. Blue Monday featuring the distinctive kick drum opening. Problems playing this file? See Media Help. Power, Corruption, and Lies, released in May 1983, was a synthesizer-based outing and a dramatic change in sound from Joy Division and the preceding album, although the band had been hinting at the increased use of technology during the music-making process for a number of years then, including their work as Joy Division. Starting from what earlier singles had hinted, this was where the band had found their footing, mixing early techno music with their earlier guitar-based sound and showing the strong influence of acts like Kraftwerk and Giorgio Moroder. Even further in this direction was the electronically sequenced, 4-on-the-floor single Blue Monday. Inspired by Klein plus MBO's Dirty Talk and Sylvester's disco classic, You Make Me Feel Mighty Real, 18, Blue Monday became the best-selling independent 12 inches single of all time in the UK. However, much to the chagrin of the buying public, it was not on the track list of Power, corruption, and lies. The song was included, however, on the cassette format in some countries, such as Australia and New Zealand, and on the original North American CD release of the album, alongside its B-side, The Beach. Blue Monday was also included on the 2008 collector's edition of Power, Corruption, and Lies. The 1983 single Confusion firmly established the group as a dance music force, inspiring many musicians in subsequent years. In 1984 they followed the largely synthesized single Thieves Like Us with the heavy guitar drum bass rumble of Murder, a not too distant cousin of Ecstasy from the Power, Corruption and Lies album. KROQ Los Angeles DJ Jed the Fish claims New Order had more to do with the emergence of house music than the warehouse music of Chicago and Frankie Knuckles and the whole so-called house music scene. Unless you were actually from regional Chicago, had you ever heard of house music until New Order? Be real, now. Low Life, Brotherhood, and Substance, 1985 to 1987. 1985's Low Life refined and sometimes mixed the two styles, guitar-based and electronic, and included The Perfect Kiss, the video for which was filmed by Jonathan Demme, and Subculture. In February 1986, the soundtrack album to Pretty in Pink featuring Shell Shock was released on A&M Records. An instrumental version of Thieves Like Us and the instrumental Elijah appeared in the film but were not on the soundtrack album. Later that summer, New Order headlined a lineup that included The Smiths, The Fall, and A Certain Ratio during the festival of the 10th summer at Manchester's GMX. 19. Brotherhood, 1986, divided the two approaches onto separate album sides. The album notably featured Bizarre Love Triangle, a top 20 hit in Australia and New Zealand, and Angel Dust, of which a remixed instrumental version is available on the UK True Faith CD video single, under the title Evil Dust, a track which marries a synth break beat with low-life era guitar effects. While New Order toured North America with friends Echo and the Bunnymen, the summer of 1987 saw the release of the compilation Substance, which featured the new single True Faith. Substance was an important album in collecting the group's 12-inch singles onto CD for the first time and featured new versions of Temptation and Confusion referred to as Temptation 87 and Confusion 87. A second disc featured several of the B-sides from the singles on the first disc, as well as additional A-sides Procession and Murder. The single, True Faith, with its surreal video, became a hit on MTV and the band's first American Top 40 hit. The single's B-side, 1963, originally planned on being the A-side until the group's label convinced them to release True Faith instead, would later be released as a single in its own right several years later, with two new versions. In December 1987, the band released a further single, Touched by the Hand of God, with a Catherine Bigelow-directed video parodying glam metal. The song was one of 4 new tracks recorded for the American comedy film Salvation, and reached number 20 on the UK Singles Chart and number 1 in the UK Independent Singles Chart. However, it would not appear on an album until the 1994 compilation The Best of New Order. Technique, Republic and First Breakup, 1988 to 1993. By this time, the group was heavily influenced by the Bollywood sounds of Avisa, which were making their way into the agenda. Partly recorded at Mediterranean Sound Studios on Avisa, Technique was released in February 1989. The album entered the charts at number 1 in the UK and contained a mix of acid house influence, as on opening track Fine Time, and a more traditional rock sound, as on the single Run 2. The album is a blend of upbeat, accessible music coupled with blunt, poignant lyrics. During the summer of 1989, New Order supported Technique by touring with Public Image Limited, throwing Muses and the Sugar Cubes across the United States and Canada in what the press dubbed the Monsters of Alternative Rock Tour. 20. Around this time, band members also began side projects including Electronic, Sumner with Johnny Marr, and Revenge, Hook with David Hicks. Morris and Gilbert began to work together on outside TV theme production work. In 1991, the band were sued by the publishing company of American singer John Denver, who alleged that the guitar break in Run 2 was similar to his song Leaving on a Jet Plane. 21. The case was settled out of court and the song has since been credited to both New Order and John Denver. 22. In 1990, New Order recorded the official song of the England national football team's 1990 World Cup campaign, World in Motion, under the ad hoc band name England New Order. The song, co-written with comedian Keith Allen, was the band's sole #1 UK hit. 23. The song was originally planned to be titled D for England, however the Football Association vetoed the title upon realizing that this was a reference to ecstasy, a drug heavily associated with the agenda. Allen claimed that his original draft lyrics included E is for England, England starts with E, we'll all be smiling when we're in Italy. 24. The song also featured chanting from members of the England team and Allen, and a guest rap from England player John Barnes. It was again produced by Stephen Hague, who the band chose to produce their next album. The band's next album Republic was shadowed by the collapse of their longtime label Factory Records. The label had been ailing due to financial difficulties, and was forced to declare bankruptcy in 1992. 25. New Order never had a formal contract with Factory. Although unusual for a major group, this was Factory's standard practice until the mid-1980s. Because of this, the band, rather than Factory Records, legally owned all of their recordings. This has been cited by Wilson himself 26, as the main reason London Records' 1992 offer to buy the ailing label fell through. Following Factory's collapse, New Order signed with London, as did Morris and Gilbert separately for their side project The Other Two, whose debut album was originally intended for release on Factory. Republic, released around the world in 1993, spawned the singles Regret, New Order's highest charting single in the US, Ruined in a Day, World, and Spooky. Following the release and promotion of Republic, the band put New Order on hold while focusing on side projects, with The Other Two's debut album released in 1993. In 1994, a second singles collection was released, entitled The Best of New Order. It featured all of the band's singles since Substance as well as a few extra tracks, Vanishing Point, from 1989's Technique, The Perfect Kiss, Thieves Like Us, Shell Shock, and remixes of True Faith, Bizarre Love Triangle, 1963, and Round and Round. The new versions of True Faith and 1963, the latter as a more guitar-oriented version produced by Arthur Baker, were released as singles to promote the album. In the US, the track listing was altered to set it apart from Substance as well as the UK release of The Best of New Order, which had been available months prior. This collection was followed by a remix album, The Rest of New Order, featuring a selection of existing and newly commissioned mixes of classic New Order tracks. Some versions contained an extra disc or cassette composed entirely of remixes of Blue Monday. Blue Monday was released as a single for a third time to promote the collection. Reformation and Get Ready, 1998 to 2003. The group reconvened in 1998 at the suggestion of Rob Gren. Nearly 5 years had passed since they had last seen each other. Sumner said, "We decided before we agreed to doing any gig, to have a meeting, and if anyone had any grudges to bear, to iron them out." 27. By the second meeting everyone agreed to continue playing, scheduling their reunion gig for the Phoenix Festival that same year. In addition to rarer songs, New Order also decided to begin playing Joy Division songs again. 28. When the Phoenix Festival was cancelled due to low ticket sales, New Order instead played the last night of that year's Reading Festival. 29. Their 2001 release Get Ready largely departed from their more electronic style and focused on more guitar-oriented music. According to Sumner, Get Ready was guitar-heavy simply because we felt that we'd left that instrument alone for a long time. 30. Longtime fan Billy Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins played guitar and sang backup on the track Turn My Way, and in 2001 toured with the band on dates in the UK, US, and Japan for a short period of time. Phil Cunningham, formerly of Marion, joined the band in a live capacity, deputizing for Gilbert, who declined to tour in favor of caring for her and Morris' children. Primal Scream's Bobby Gillespie provided vocals on the track Rock the Shack. Singles from the album included Crystal, 60 Miles an Hour and Someone Like You. In 2002, Q featured New Order on their list of the 50 bands to see before you die, 31, although this was as part of a sub-list of 5 bands that could go either way. Both New Order and Joy Division were portrayed in the Michael Winterbottom film 24-Hour Party People, depicting the rise and fall of Factory Records as seen through the eyes of label founder Tony Wilson. Cameos by Wilson himself, along with Mark E. Smith of The Fall and former members of Happy Mondays and In Spiral Carpets, lent a degree of legitimacy to the proceedings. The film touched on some of Factory's other artists, including Happy Mondays and the Girardi Column. The soundtrack featured the new track Here to Stay, produced by the Chemical Brothers, which was released as a single. The single's music video highlighted scenes taken from the film. Waiting for the Siren's Call, Singles and Second Breakup, 2004 to 2007. New Order performing in 2005. The band released a new album on March 27, 2005, titled Waiting for the Siren's Call, their first with new member Phil Cunningham. Cunningham replaced Gilbert, now married to Morris, so she could look after their children. Singles from this album were Crafty, Jetstream, which features guest vocals by Animatronic from Scissor Sisters, and the title track. At the 2005 Enemy Awards, New Order and Joy Division received the award for Godlike Geniuses, for Lifetime Achievement. Previous winners include Ozzy Osbourne, The Clash, and Happy Mondays. In 2006 the album track Guilt is a Useless Emotion was nominated for a Grammy Award in the category of Best Dance Recording. In the autumn of 2005, the group released another Greatest Hits compilation, in the form of singles. The 2-disc release was an updated version of the Substance collection and contained every single released from their 1981 debut all the way through to Waiting for the Siren's Call. However, unlike Substance, which focused almost exclusively on the 12-inch versions of the group's singles, singles collected the 7-inch versions, many of which, like Ceremony, Temptation and Confusion, had never been released on CD. The album was accompanied by a 2-disc DVD set, titled Item, that collected the extended UK version of New Order's story with a DVD of all New Order music videos as well as 2 newly commissioned videos for Temptation 87 and Ceremony. The New Order, Live in Glasgow DVD was recorded at the Glasgow Academy in 2006 and features 18 tracks, including 4 Joy Division songs. 32. Next to that, the release also contains a bonus disc of footage from the band's personal archive including 1980s footage from Glastonbury, June 1981, Rome, Cork, Rotterdam, and Toronto. In 2006, the band played several one-off live dates as well as short tours in the UK, Brazil and Argentina. After their Buenos Aires show in November 2006, Peter Hook suggested that the band should stop touring. 33. In early May 2007, Hook was interviewed by British radio station XFM, originally to talk about his contribution to the debut album of Jane's Addiction singer Perry Farrell's new band Satellite Party, and stated that me and Bernard aren't working together. Further complicating the news, New Order Online, a website with support from New Order management, reported that according to a source close to the band, the news about the split is false. New Order still exists despite what Hook said. Peter Hook can leave the band, but this doesn't mean the end of New Order. 34. However, Sumner revealed in 2009 that he no longer wished to make music as New Order. 35. Reunion with new lineup, Lost Sirens and Music Complete, 2011 to 2016. In September 2011, the band announced that they would perform for the first time since 2006, at the Ancien Belgique, Brussels on 17 October and at the Bataclan, Paris on 18 October. 36. The band's lineup included keyboardist Gillian Gilbert, who returned to the band after a 10-year break, and Bad Lieutenant bassist Tom Chapman in place of Peter Hook. 37. They played subsequent shows in London and South America in December, and released Live at the London Troxy, a live album from their performance on December 10, 2011 at the Troxy in London. 38. New Order perform in 2012. They continued to tour throughout 2012, including a short tour of New Zealand and Australia in February, March, and several festival appearances in 2012. New Order performed at Hyde Park with Blur and the Specials to celebrate the 2012 Summer Olympics closing ceremony. 39. Lost Sirens 40 was released in the United Kingdom on January 14, 2013. Lost Sirens is an 8-track album of songs recorded during the sessions for Waiting for the Siren's Call. The album was discussed by Gillian Gilbert in a Brazilian interview to promote the band's appearance in São Paulo. She acknowledged issues with former member Peter Hook, and stated there was a lot going on behind the scenes on the copyright delaying the release. 41. The band debuted their first new song since the Waiting for the Siren's Call sessions, Singularity, during Lollapalooza Chile in March 2014. 42. In July, the group toured North America, 43-44, where they debuted another song, Plastic. 45. On 2 September the band signed to Mute Records. The New Order back catalog remains with Warner Music. 46-47. On September 22, 2015, the band released a new album, Music Complete, their first without Peter Hook. The album was produced mostly by the band themselves, except Singularity and Unlearn This Hatred, both produced by Tom Rowlands, while Superheated features additional production by Stuart Price. 48. On May 13, 2016, New Order released a follow-up remix album Complete Music, which consists of extended and reworked mixes of each track from Music Complete. 49-50. In November 2015, Peter Hook sued Bernard Sumner, Stephen Morris, and Gillian Gilbert. In an objection, it was revealed that Sumner, Morris and Gilbert had set up a new company behind Hook's back, that it has generated an income of £7.8 million in 4 years while Hook received only a fraction of that. The three members argued they had treated Hook fairly and that his stake in the band's royalties was reasonable, despite the fact that in 4 years, Hook had only received 1.25% of the band's royalties and other income from merchandising and performances. The judge ruled that there was at least a reasonable prospect of Hook proving that he was not getting a fair share of royalties and other income and rejected Sumner and Morris's lawyer argument. The judge was willing to hear the case but urged the parties to come to an agreement rather than suffer legal costs of around £900,000. 51. On September 20, 2017, the band announced that a full and final settlement had been reached in the dispute. 52-53. Touring and recent work, 2017-present. On July 13, 2017, New Order played a concert at Manchester International Festival with Liam Gillick. 54-55. On July 12, 2019 the performance was released as a live album titled Sigma, No, 12K, LG, 17 MIF, New Order plus Liam Gillick, So It Goes. Live at MIF. 56. The collaboration between Gillick and New Order was the subject of a documentary feature titled New Order, Decades, directed by Mike Christie and broadcast in the UK by Sky Arts and Showtime in the USA. On August 23, 2018, the band played the first date of a North American tour at the Palace Theatre in St. Paul, Minnesota, US. According to the band's official website, other stops on the tour included Cleveland, Ohio, Washington, D.C., Toronto, Ontario, Long Beach, California, Kahului, Hawaii, and Honolulu, Hawaii. As of August 24, 2018, a single show in Santiago, Chile had been announced for November 21, 2018. In January 2020, the band played a 4-night residency in Florida, and in February 2020, they announced a co-headlining tour in North America with the Pet Shop Boys, 57, and that the only concert in the UK in 2020 would be at the O2 on 10th of October. These tour dates were later rescheduled for 2021. On September 8, 2020, the band released the single Be a Rebel 5 years after their previous release. A music video for the single, directed by Nizu, premiered on YouTube on 2nd of December. 58. On February 11, 2021, the band announced their plans to release a live album and concert film of their 2018 show at London's Alexandra Palace, directed by Mike Christie. Entitled Education Entertainment Recreation, Live at Alexandra Palace, it was released on 7th of May. 59 60 61. Other projects. Main articles: Electronic, Band, Bad Lieutenant, Band, Peter Hook and the Light, The Other Two, Duo, and Monaco, Band. In 1988, Bernard Sumner teamed up with former Smiths guitarist Johnny Marr to form the group Electronic, also enlisting the help of Neil Tennant and Chris Lowe of the Pet Shop Boys. Electronic regrouped in 1996 for Raise the Pressure, which also featured Carl Bardos, formerly of Kraftwerk. The project's third album Twisted Tenderness was released in 1999, after which the band dissolved. In June 2009, Sumner formed a new band called Bad Lieutenant with Phil Cunningham, guitar, and Jake Evans, guitar and vocals. Their album Never Cry Another Tear was released on October 5, 2009. 62. In addition to Cunningham and Evans, the album also features appearances by Stephen Morris, drums, Jack Mitchell, drums, Tom Chapman bass and Alex James bass. The live band included Morris on drums and Tom Chapman on bass. 63. Peter Hook has been involved with several other projects. In the 1990s, Hook recorded with Killing Joke with a view to joining the band. However, original bassist Martin Youth Glover instead returned to the band. 64. In 1995 he toured with the Jurati Column. 65. He has recorded one album with the band Revenge with Davey Hicks and Chris Jones and two with Monaco, both as bassist, keyboardist and lead vocalist, with David Potts. Monaco scored a club and alternative radio hit with What Do You Want From Me? In 1997. Hook also formed a band called Free Boss with fellow bass players Monty, the Stone Roses, and Andy Rourke, the Smiths, and vocalist Gary Briggs, which was active from 2007 to 2010. He also contributed to Perry Farrell's Satellite Party. Hook's current band Peter Hook and the Light is touring Joy Division and New Order albums in their entirety. In 1990, Gillian Gilbert and Stephen Morris formed their own band, The Other Two. The Other Two released its first single Tasty Fish in 1991 and released two albums, The Other Two and You in 1993 and Superhighways in 1999. They have also been involved in scoring television soundtracks, like Making Out. 66. In 2007, Gilbert and Morris remixed two tracks for the 9 Inch Nails Remixes album Year Zero Remixed. B Music. B Music was a name the band used for their publishing company. The LP label for Movement says B Music in large letters, though using an italic sharp S for the letter B. All 4 members of the band used the name for production work for other artists' recordings between 1982 and 1985. 67. The first B Music credit was for Peter Hook producing Stockholm Monsters in 1982. Other artists with producer or musician credit for B Music were 52nd Street, Section 25, Marcel King, Quando Quango, Paul Haig, Thick Pigeon, Niam Niam, and Life. Their production work as B Music was collected on 2 LTM Recordings compilation CDs, Cool as Ice, The B Music Productions 68, and Twice as Nice, which also included production work by Donald Johnson, Of a Certain Ratio, and Arthur Baker. 67. Influences, Style and Legacy. This article contains wording that promotes the subject in a subjective manner without imparting real information. Please remove or replace such wording, and instead of making proclamations about a subject's importance, use facts and attribution to demonstrate that importance. August 2017, learn how and when to remove this template message. New Order's music mixes rock with dance music, as can be seen on signature tracks such as 1982's Temptation, 1983's Blue Monday and 1987's True Faith. Founding member Hook stated that the band's shift from playing cold dark tracks from 1981 to producing electro rock tracks from 1982 was inspired by the music of German electronic group Kraftwerk, US rock band Sparks, who had produced disco, electro rock music with producer Giorgio Moroder on their Number 1 in Heaven album, and also the Moroder-Donna Summer collaboration on I Feel Love. 69. Along with Kraftwerk, the English bands Cabaret Voltaire, The Human League and Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, OMD, educated singer Bernard Sumner that one could make music without guitars. 70. New Order's collaboration with New York DJ Arthur Baker was inspired by the record sounds of Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five and Africa Bambaataa and the Soul Sonic Force. 71. According to a staff-written AllMusic history, the band are also regarded as the first alternative dance music group with their fusion of used icy, gloomy post-punk with Kraftwerk-style synth-pop. 72, and were also labeled as synth-pop. 73-74, post-punk. 75, new wave. 76, dance rock. 77-78, and electronica. 79. They have heavily influenced techno, rock, and pop musicians including Moby, 80, and were themselves influenced by the likes of David Bowie and Neu. They have also significantly influenced electro, freestyle and house. New Order's Kraftwerk influence was acknowledged by their single Crafty, which had cover art referencing Autobahn. Drummer Stephen Morris plays a mixture of acoustic and electronic drums, and in many cases plays along seamlessly with sequenced parts. All the band members could and did switch instruments throughout gigs, as evidenced on Jonathan Dem's video for The Perfect Kiss and the concert videos Taras Shevchenko, recorded in New York, November 1981-81, and Pumped Full of Drugs, Tokyo, May 1985. 82. During such live gigs, Sumner alternated between guitar, keyboards, melodica and, on the track Confusion, bass. Gilbert switched between keyboards and guitar, Morris between drums and keyboards, and Hook played both bass and electronic drums. Taras Shevchenko is also notable for the fact all four members of the group have left the stage before the final song, Temptation, comes to a complete end. Reputation. Both New Order and Joy Division were among the most successful artists on the Factory Records label, run by Granada television personality Tony Wilson, and partnered with Factory in the financing of the Manchester club The Hacienda. Speaking in 2009, fellow synth-pop musician Phil Oakey described New Order's slow-burn career as cult musicians as being unusually prolonged and effective. If you want to make a lot of money out of pop, be number 3 a lot. Like New Order did. 83. Cover artwork. Almost all New Order recordings bear minimalist packaging, art directed by Peter Saville. The group's record sleeves bucked the 1980s trend by rarely showing the band members, with the exception of the Low Life album, or even providing basic information such as the band name or title of the release. Song names were often hidden within the shrink-wrapped package, either on the disc itself, such as the Blue Monday single, on an inconspicuous part of an inner sleeve, the Perfect Kiss single, or written in a cryptic color code invented by Saville, Power, Corruption and Lies. Saville said his intention was to sell the band as a mass-produced secret of sorts, and that the minimalist style was enough to allow fans to identify the band's products without explicit labeling. 9. Saville frequently sent the artwork straight to the printer, unreviewed by either the band or the label. 84. Awards and nominations. Year Awards Work Category Result. 1983 Enemy Awards Power, Corruption and Lies Best Dressed Sleeve 1. Blue Monday Best Single 1. Themselves Best Group 1. 1988 Brit Awards True Faith Best British Video 1. Polestar Concert Industry Awards Themselves Most Creative Stage Production Nominated. 1990 Nominated. 1991 Ivor Novello Awards World in Motion Best Selling Aside Nominated. 1993 Mercury Prize Republic Album of the Year Nominated. Billboard Music Awards Themselves Top Modern Rock Tracks Artist Nominated. Regret Top Modern Rock Track 1. 1994 D&AD Awards World, The Price of Love, Pop Promo Video Wood Pencil. 1999 Q Awards Themselves Q Inspiration Award 1. 2000 ASCAP Pop Music Awards Blue Monday Most Performed Song 85, 1. 2001 Q Awards Crystal Best Single Nominated. Zebraik Music Awards Themselves Best International Surprise 86, nominated. 2005 Enemy Awards Godlike Genius Award 1. 2006 Grammy Awards Guilt is a Useless Emotion Best Dance Recording nominated. MTV Match Crafty Best Dance Video nominated. 2012 UK Festival Awards Themselves Headliner of the Year 1. Art Rocker Awards Legend Award 87, 1. 2015 Q Awards Q Outstanding Contribution to Music 1. Restless Best Track nominated. Best Art Vinyl Music Complete Best Art Vinyl 88, nominated. 2016 International Dance Music Awards Plastic Best Alternative, Rock Dance Track nominated. 2019 Silver Clef Awards Bernard Sumner Outstanding Achievement Award 89, 1. Band members. Current. Bernard Sumner, lead vocals, guitars, keyboards, programming, melodica, 1980 to 1993, 1998 to 2007, 2011 present. Stephen Morris, drums, percussion, keyboards, programming, 1980 to 1993, 1998 to 2007, 2011 present. Gillian Gilbert, keyboards, guitars, programming, 1980 to 1993, 1998 to 2001, 2011 present. Phil Cunningham, guitars, keyboards, electronic percussion, 2001 to 2007, 2011 present. Tom Chapman, bass, keyboards, 2011 present. Former. Peter Hook, bass, electronic percussion, vocals, keyboards, programming, 1980 to 1993, 1998 to 2007. Timeline. Discography. Main article, New Order Discography. Movement, 1981. Power, Corruption and Lies, 1983. Low Life, 1985. Brotherhood, 1986. Technique, 1989. Republic, 1993. Get Ready, 2001. Waiting for the Siren's Call, 2005. Lost Sirens, 2013. Music Complete, 2015.